Hey, are you listening? RedMaster merch, now official. Down in the description below, go ahead and follow that link if you want to buy yourself some RedMaster merch. Hey guys, what is going on? Rich here, and welcome back to episode of Cards and Castles Hidden Combos, where today we're looking at or at least we're looking into another Kargrom deck, but more specifically, the Knights of Kargrom. Now, I kind of got the idea when I noticed an interaction on TV that I don't think has been properly explored. Maybe some folks have tried this, but it's something that I want to kind of take a deeper look at, and it's the interaction between Sacrifice and Resolve. Of course, for those who don't already know, Resolve is the ability where your unit kind of can survive death by, a point of health. So if a unit were to die, he'll stay alive, have a health reset to 1, and kind of keep going until he dies from there. But I noticed in I guess a replay that a player used, I don't know if it was, I think it was Darkfire. He used Darkfire on a Paladin. The Paladin resolve kicked in, and of course he survived the Darkfire, but the Darkfire still took effect. So that got me thinking, what happens if that same mechanic is applied to a Kargrom deck, in which, you have a resolve unit, you play the sacrifice on the resolve, the resolve kicks in, keeps the unit alive, and then you bust forward with Kargrom. So I kind of wanted to explore that interaction more with this particular deck here. And while I do think this, it is a fun concept, I will go ahead and put a big old disclaimer right at the beginning of the video here, where I honestly feel like the deck may not be super complete yet. I feel confident enough to kind of showcase the list and showcase the general idea of what I'm trying to pull off of this deck, but I do think that the list I have here could very much be improved on in a couple of capacities. Because, I mean, looking back at it, you'd assume that, okay, Knights of Kargrom is going to be a Knight-focused deck with a bit of Kargrom support, but you'll understand sort of the mess that I'm at when we take a look at the deck list. So, I mean, it is a fine deck list. I'm not going to say that, this is a completely trash list, go ahead and just move on. I'm not saying that. I do think, though, that it can be optimized. It's just very difficult when you have a Warlock Crusader deck, because there's so many safety cards that you kind of want to play in the deck, but having to make room for them and then looking back and justifying them becomes a little bit trickier. So, but enough about me talking about the list. Let's go ahead and show you guys the actual list. So let's go ahead and jump in to Knights of Kargrom. Okay, so here is our list for the Knights of Kargrom. Now, obviously, when you look at the list, it's going to be basically the star of the show here is Kargrom, and that's kind of undisputed. But where it kind of branches off to with all the different directions here, it kind of gets a little crazy. So let's try and, I guess, break down my thought here for, what's going on. Now, obviously, Resolve. I don't actually run the Resolve spell, which I believe should be over here. I don't run this, the Plea of Righteous, but you certainly can. I do have Frog Prince at my disposal, so I decided to use him as well as Paladin as sort of my Resolve units to kind of act as, in case in case I need to sacrifice, the Resolve is there. Grotesque on the Paladin survives, etc., etc. Play the Kargrom. But if you don't have Frog Prince, I think Plea of the Righteous is definitely another good go-to spell, especially because then you can give two Resolve, 2 instances of Resolve to 2 different units, so that's kind of important. But going by the rest of the list, yeah, it was a bit of a crazy one to look at, because when you think of Kargrom, you want to have, the good sack cards, in which, my opinion, Grotesque Offering, Talabos, and to a degree, Darkfire. Now, you could argue that, Sacrifice is, well, a card as well, and, you are correct about that. But, Sacrifice is a bit, it's okay. It's not super useful. I mean, it's cheap, which is, certainly useful if you want to do more in a turn. But I just don't think Sacrifice is, a strong choice of a card to run. So we're gonna avoid that for now. But those, of course, are our stat cards to get into Kargrom here. I did have a more of, I guess, an idea with Knights in the deck here, but obviously that didn't turn out super well, as you can clearly see. The only Knights we are running is Questing, Horseman, Paladin, and Frog Prince. I did have, more of an idea. Maybe Cleric I decided I could have squeezed in here. I was thinking maybe the Stables would have worked too to create sort of like a more Knight-esque effect. But when I started kind of throwing in cards, I kind of lost more and more room to justify a more stronger Knight focus. And when you look at other things, like you might be wondering why Unholy Altar is in here. Altar just to provide bodies for, potentially when you have a sacrifice ready. But you have all these valuable units that you don't want to lose to a sacrifice. So Unholy Altar provides generations. I mean, when you start thinking about things like that, that's kind of why the list gets a little bit more cluttered up, as you can see here. So I mean, that's why I'm looking maybe if folks want to take a look at this, maybe give a couple of points of optimization, maybe I would appreciate that. Just kind of make maybe more of a better Knight, like an actual Knights of Kargrom list, and not just, Kargrom with some weird Knight interactions, which is kind of like the vibe I'm getting off of this right now. But let's go ahead and take you card by card here to show you what we are running, and of course why we're running it. Lumberjack, no surprise, obvious run. Just need the draw here. Offering, one of our sack cards, and also another source of draw power. Priest, every Crusader deck runs him. The +1 health is useful for pretty much everything, so of course he's being thrown in here. Questing Knight as another one of our 2 gold units, and I think just, again, one of our Knights to kind of bounce the Frog Prince off of maybe. Just a solid overall strong 2 gold unit. Blacksmith, and to a degree Armory as well. Both cards, of course, no surprise while they're in here. Instances of global buffs, that's going to especially be useful when Kargrom has that big old debuff out in the field. You want to kind of keep things a little stronger than your opponent in that instance. You've got Talabos, again, another sack card. Rat King, big defensive card. I've run him in nearly every deck. Unholy Altar, I mentioned, providing some bodies in case maybe you want to sacrifice for Kargrom, but, can't afford to waste a more valuable unit. Armory, of course, I mentioned global buff. Darkbender, just a solid range unit that you include in Warlock decks. Darkfire, another sack card. Hand of the Saint, our big healing. Horseman, another knight, and of course, maybe I thought that his initiative would be more useful here, so he's, thrown in. It's kind of like a substitute burn when I don't have the blue fires, you could tell, so Horseman was kind of like my substitute for that. Then we jump to Dragon's Fire, big burn. Obviously, don't carry Warlock decks without Dragon's Fire. Oh, I just deleted a ton of things. Jesus Christ. As I find him now because of my stupid clicking. Kargrom, which is of course the star of the deck. You don't want to go home, you don't want to play a Kargrom deck without Kargrom. Paladin, one of our resolve targets, along with Frog Prince. Kind of the reasons or the inspiration behind the Knights of Kargrom. Use the resolve, trigger a sacrifice, keep the unit, and bring out Kargrom. Arcanon, extremely powerful in Kargrom decks merely because of the randomness he brings to the sacrifice. You could be sacrificing opposing units in order to bring out Kargrom, which I think is extremely beneficial. Kraxus, solid unit in Crusader. Never leave a Crusader deck without him. Big boy for big draw. And Mordok is sort of the safety net unit, of course, to generate some additional units here and be an overall nuisance. So that's kind of the lineup here. Again, you kind of get what I'm seeing, thinking about with the whole, like, not really a Knight-focused deck, and maybe I do want to kind of turn it into that. So I'd appreciate if folks maybe leave some thoughts and suggestions as to maybe how to bring that about. I know I would probably have to maybe get rid of things like Alter, Darkbender, maybe Arcanon as well. But again, we'll leave that in the to that discussions in the comment section below. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the gameplay here and show you some gameplay of the Knights of Kargrom. Alright, so here we go with our matchup here. We do have the Paladin in hand, which I'm going to swap out. Lumberjack Blacksmith is okay. There is one of the 2 Kargroms. Alright, so hopefully we'll get to show him off in the match. We do need a sacrifice card. And Archie shows up. Fantastic. I don't need both of you boys here, but yes, okay, glad to have you on board. We're going to go see a Faithful Drake to start things off, which is fine. I do have a grotesque offering now. Actually, I am going to use that on the Lumberjack here just so we can get a lot more draw. See, like, things like picking up now, Craxus, Mordock, they don't necessarily help us, so it's good to cycle those now instead of later when it could be, you know, more devastating for those kind of pulls. I do have a Blacksmith in hand, which the idea, hopefully, is to maybe branch that off into a Talabos right now. But that also, I guess, depends on what else we get. We are going up against a Druid Crusader here, so nothing that should immediately threaten our Kargrom here. I guess the idea is still to get him out, though, so hopefully maybe we can pull off something like a Blacksmith into a turn 5 Talabos and then bring out Kargrom turn 6. But I don't know, that just depends. Um, in the meantime, I'm thinking about what we can do. Really, the only next turn we have is to play the Blacksmith. That's not much else that you could say except for, yeah, that's the hand that you're dealt with, so gotta play it like that. Which is fine. I mean, we do run a bit more of the expensive cards. Are we gonna see the counter go down to 0? I hope not. We are. Oh, okay. Alrighty. Well, Blacksmith comes out. Maybe he disconnected. I mean, with everyone online during these times. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. If he doesn't play any moves, we might have to just jump to the next. Oh, nope. We see Suit of Armor. Right. Shoot, really? He gives me more of that? Well, let's bring out a Talabos, right? Throw him right here for now. I don't think this Drake should get enough attack out of Crusader Druid with 4 gold. Which also begs the question, if you're running Druid Crusader, why are we running Suit? Okay, there's the Armory. Fine buff. Oh, he puts it behind the armor, so it's a little bit of like a block. I don't know how I feel about that. It's a little strange. He does attack with the Faithful Drake, which we can kill next turn. Ooh, actually, this is perfect. So what we can do now, we can Grotesque Offering this, right? We'll set up for Kargrom. Jesus, this hand. We'll set up for Kargrom next turn and see where it goes from there. Again, I don't think a Druid Crusader should be well equipped to fight off Kargrom debuff. Although, with the Armory, he will have a little bit of a boost there. Brings out the Northland's Bear. Okay. Hopefully he runs that all the way up. Nope, he does that. That's a shame. Actually, you know what I might do? I might focus on getting some more bodies on the field. We will do a Grotesque on the Rat King, obviously, to, I guess, avoid that upkeep. Holy crap. Oh boy. This is a hand that everyone just loves to see, right? Maybe I should have played Kargrom to save the Grotesque for Arcanon. Oh well. So Bear's getting a little bit more attack there, or health, excuse me. The brewery is, you know, the other way around. Alright, nothing that we can't handle, I think. We'll play Kargrom next turn, that's a given. We'll do, actually no, not yet. We will do this first. We'll kill off this Dragon Knight in a way that Talabos will survive, get the lifesteal, and then we bring out the big big boy does a little bit of whip crack, kills out the Faithful Drake, and then toss it back to him. He could obviously just gun for these two rats up here, maybe with the bear, ignore everything down here, but I think he'd want to take out maybe the Talabos in a weakened state. Seems like the proper play to go for. And I need to find my global buffs here. We've drawn everything that's not a global buff. So we'll see how far buried in the deck these cards are. But plays for following turns might set up things like Craxus now. We do see... Alright, Dragon Knight come in. Dragon Knight not going to do a whole lot. There's a whip crack on from the Kargrom, so there goes the Faithful Drake. Divine Knowledge, draw some extra cards, toss it back to him. Actually, what we could do, now that I'm actually looking at this play, actually, I'll throw this rat down here. I think the play, now that I'm looking at it, is to bring out Archie. The reason we're bringing out Archie is to set up for hopefully a big sacrifice play. With the Darkfire, of course, Darkfire, you sacrifice a unit, but since the target is random thanks to Arcanon, I do have a chance of creating this big explosion within the enemy lines here. And I'm going to try and position the Wrath to, I guess, be potential targets of Darkfire. We'll see how well that goes. It could end up horribly wrong for me, too. You got to remember that. But hopefully, if he throws enough targets on the board, it'll hopefully strike something on his side of the board. Yeah, I need to set up things just like this. What I don't want to be sacrificed is Kargrom. Kargrom would be the big bad. Ooh, Pillar. What is... Oh, boy. You don't need to heal the... Oh, my lord. Alright, so let's do this. Let's do a whip crack to ensure that we can get that kill. Let's position some things around here. I'm going to try and Darkfire the Talabos. We'll do the suit. And that's some big damage. Do love to see that. We'll also do... We'll kill the bear, because why not? And then we'll do that. And now his units are even at an even greater disadvantage thanks to the fact that he lost Armory and Brewery off of that Darkfire play. And that's why Arcanon is in here, to create those sacrifice plays that are going to be much more beneficial to you rather than sacrificing something that you don't want to. As we look around the board, I'm not sure if there's... I mean, again, we do need to find global buffs here. That's what, we're missing to really finish off the package here. So that way we can kind of knock down the castle a little bit quicker, but we'll see. I think he's probably going to surrender, right? I don't know if he's going to or not. Okay, he will surrender. But that essentially is kind of like the aspect of Kargrom that you want to kind of get on the board here. We didn't see any sort of Knight resolve. We did pull the Paladin and the Frog Prince in that, past hand, I believe, or the past two draws are both kind of resolve units. But I did use all the Grotesque offerings, so I didn't exactly want to bring them out and, show the sacrifice when the sacrifice wouldn't really mean too much at that point. But that's the idea. Just a kind of straightforward Kargrom deck with a little bit of a twist with the resolve stuff. The previous match that we just saw really played to more of like a standard Kargrom deck. That's kind of what you want to see. But we didn't see the Knights of the Global buffs, which... I mean, global buffs, of course, go with the standard package, but Knights are really kind of what made this deck a little bit more unique. So hopefully we'll try to get some more of that in the future. But overall, I think this was a great match to show what the Kargrom side of the deck can do and what you're ultimately looking for in the Kargrom play. Because, I mean, I think it's been a hot minute since I've shown off a good Kargrom deck. So, a kind of, good reminder as to what Kargrom can really do for a board when he comes out. Alright, and just because we are feeling a little bit of the good vibes today, let's go ahead and jump into another matchup. See if I can show off the resolve just a little bit more, as opposed to the, just the Kargrom aspect. I mean, our hand's looking okay. We got the priest to kind of start things off here. We got the paladin from any maybe sacrifice trick, so I can show you how that might work. Opponent's gonna start things off with a mischievous imp, which is, I guess, fine by me. Mm, let's coin out the Rat King. See if maybe I can disrupt this a little bit. Maybe I can get the upkeep to be burned. Nope. Okay, we're gonna hit a castle. Okay. Alrighty. He'll go for the rat trade down there to kind of force me to keep the upkeep, which is expected. Oh, and bridge troll. So now I'm going to have absolutely no gold to work with. Fantastic. I love it. I'm going to go ahead and pull back just a little bit here. Make it so that way the troll is only going to maybe be engaging with the rat king. Okay, rider comes out. Does his thing. Takes out a rat. The rat I didn't necessarily need to get hit. But okay. Oh, alright, we got everything charging at me. Oh, geez, calm down, buddy. We did get the grotesque offering, which is good. I think we're gonna go ahead, play the lifesteal a little bit here. Chop down the bridge troll, kind of gain ourselves back some life. I think this deck runs murder. I've seen this rocking around TV, so we'll see if Talabos gets murdered outright. Nope, Pegacorn gonna be the one that takes us out. Alright, that's fair, I guess. You gotta love the Pegacorn. Let's go ahead and get the priest going to maybe trade with the Pegacorn here. We'll block off the manfish from getting to our unholy altar. And then we'll play paladin. Yeah, that's fine. You do what you want over there, pal. Meanwhile, I am going to play the paladin down here. Do a little bit of that. Do his one burst. Go down here. We'll avoid all that. And then hopefully we'll grotesque our paladin, so that way we'll have a sack on the board ready. So here's what we'll do. Grotesque the resolve. The resolve kicks in and survives, right? We'll get our 2 cards. We'll trade all this into the Villaroth just to get it out of the way to avoid, Kargrom dying. And then we'll play a Headless Horseman, hit the Armory, which is what we want, disable the global buffs to prevent, cards from becoming, buffed in the wake of Kargrom. We'll play Kargrom next turn, and we'll hopefully shut down a lot of this offense here. Rider comes out, Incinerate, burns. Okay, that's a little low-key rude. Little low-key rude. Alright, so let's get the big boy out himself. Keep him down here. The only way I can see this deck coming back into the matchup here is disabling the Kargrom, the Mercenary's Execution. He does have the damage advantage on me, but he's basically run out of cards going forward. So we'll see if that really shakes things up. Okay, we'll do a little bit of that, which is, I guess, fine. Yeah, and this is, where I would ideally want my global buffs, but we're just not seeing them right now. I think what I'll do instead, well, Archie. I don't care about the lost gold. That's fine. Alright, Pegacorn comes out. Pegacorn really not going to do a whole lot. Ooh, and there's what we need. Blacksmith. Blacksmith comes out. We'll hit this. Can we maybe get a Dark Fire over here or on his unit? Uh-oh. Alright, well, I mean, that's the idea that, Archie can quickly backfire on you. God damn it. But it happens. It happens. Can't say that I'm not, unsurprised. Or I can't say that I am surprised. I'm very much unsurprised. Okay. Very cool. So what we'll do is we'll do that. We'll Dragon's Fire all this away. We'll reposition Kargrom up here. Get some more zombies going. Get the Question Knight out as well and throw it back to him. I would like a heal to come out, ideally. Maybe that's somewhere in the deck. Because that would be useful if we can pull out a heal. Just that way we don't totally die. Okay, Murder on the Blacksmith. That's a smart choice. Can I pull another global buff? I got another Kargrom. Actually, I have another Kargrom, so I could do this. I can be more aggressive with my Kargrom, because we've got the Grotesque for the next one. Ooh, Andrew. Very cool. I won't be trading things into the Sunflower then. Let's do that. I guess I'll go Mordock. Might as well. We got the big boys out. Might as well push for some damage. And if Kargrom dies, we'll attack before we set up the next one. Actually, no, we can't set up the next one because we now have to wait for the sack. Oh well. Oh, and there goes my Kargrom. One of. I think he need the attacks are there. He just I don't know if he can register them right now. Yeah, there they go. I mean, you can attack. Yeah. Oh, okay. Can we draw a heal, maybe? No. We'll do that, though. Mordock Strike. Hit this. Can we maybe get Horseman on Castle? Okay, that's one. We can't get two. That's unfortunate. Oh, he's going to surrender anyway. Alright. But that was sort of a good trick of the resolve there. Even though we traded the Paladin, earlier into the match into the Valeroth, you saw what the idea behind a sack resolve can do. The resolve kicks in, so that way you survive the sacrifice, but then can still freely use the unit, or your opponent has to react to the unit additionally. And that's kind of something that gives like a little boost in the, I guess, Kargrom workings per se, because of course you have the unit still on the board. So even after you activate the sacrifice, having that body there is going to be a bit of a problem to your opponent. If you can buff that unit up, even after the resolve gets used, or maybe they end up trading something into the unit as well, that's still more of a win for you. So it's a little trick that I kind of figured might work on a Kargrom deck. So overall, I think I had fun with it. It still needs a bit of optimization, like I mentioned before in the deck list. It's not perfect, and I think that there might be a couple things that can be replaced. I know I've got some Kargrom folks in the audience who can probably point out some things as to what I may want to swap out, or what might I need in the deck. So looking forward to hearing those comments below. But overall, pretty happy with how the Knights of Kargrom did today. So I think that might be a good place to close off today's video. Alright guys, with that being said, I hope you did enjoy today's video. Let me know what you guys thought of the Knights of Kargrom by leaving your thoughts down in the comment section below. Right down there, if you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. And of course, subscribe if you are new or haven't done so already. It's the best way that you can support the channel, as well as picking up some merch, which you can find in the description below if that kind of piques your interest. But with that being said, that's going to do it for me for now. So, until next time guys, stay gaming.